All right, welcome. Andrew Pawlak, CEO and co-founder at leadpops.com. I'm here with friend and longtime client, Ramon Walker.
Hey,
Ramon, how you
everybody.
doing?
Good, all is well. Ramon Walker, CEO of Mount Diablo Lending, and happy to be here with my bud.
Awesome, man. So you do a lot of cool things. I want to dive into a whole bunch of it, but just to start out, how long have you been using the leadPops lead funnels and the website system?
Wow, time flies, right? It's been a couple years now that I've been an actual client of leadPops. But if you go back in history, when I first actually learned of you guys, I guess you can say the first time I was even saw a leadPop funnel was when you were working through working with Bankrate, because I believe you guys controlled all of Bankrate's landing pages and funnels and all that sort of thing. So I was doing a little research, like, oh, this stuff looks cool. And then it led me to leadPops. And then down the road, I saw that you guys started to open up and work with, brokers and different people within the space, right? And so I kind of knew of you from back then. So that's you. Okay, I don't know how long ago that is.
Yeah, a few years, right? So yeah, we started working with Bankrate pretty heavily in 2014, all the way through 2017, and they ended up getting bought out by a big VC company for like a billion. I think $1.2 billion. I don't know. Maybe we played a small piece of that. I like to think.
Yeah, you guys did. You definitely did.
All right. So it sounds like you saw it and you right off the bat knew there was something to it. I mean, what was an advantage, or what did you recognize when you first ran into one of our funnels that kind of caught your eye or led you to think that, hey, this makes sense?
Well, in the lead aggregation space, you're constantly trying to figure out how to convert better, right? So you might not always have I think anybody that's would call themselves a student of this game always kind of has their receptors out, or looking to see what other people are doing. So I think around that time in 2014, 15, I mean, we used to just get a lead that came. I used to just get a lead that came in directly from like Zillow, or and it would just come into my system, and we look at the conversion ratios, and they were okay. But as I started to branch out and look at these other companies, the whole funnel thing came off. Like, oh, this is a pretty cool questionnaire, and you see the different variations of them, and you start to learn that some are greater than others, right? So the thing that was really, really exciting for me is when I got into trying to understand funnels, I would say, and the conversion ratios around funnels and all the things that can affect a person, like converting or not converting. Because you can have the same source, an individual can come from the same source and go to this funnel A and not do anything, like answer 2 questions, and go to this funnel B and answer 17 questions. And that just tripped me out. I was like, this is what I gotta understand this. So that's the thing that was the inquisitive. That's like the point that made me like very inquisitive about this part of the business.
Yeah, and seeing the results you've generated with your marketing and your experimenting, I mean, that's it blows away what a lot of people that are all they do is marketing are seeing on their end. And you're running a successful mortgage company while building your own consumer direct lead generation operation. So that's, I mean, you're a student, and now it looks like you're pretty much in a position to be a teacher, I would say, at this point.
Yeah, trying. We gotta let the cake bake through in a sense, but the recipe's looking good. We like the consistency of it. We're looking at it through the oven. It's rising nice and fluffy. So we'll take it out soon and taste it. But I'm hopeful.
Awesome. Yeah. So what are some advantages that you've seen now that you've been a user of the leadPops funnels platform?
The biggest thing is going back to, you can have, I like it. It has to be a full string sort of strategy, right? You have to have all the components right in your lead aggregation strategy. So for so many, and you're constantly trying to figure that out. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration lies with people in trying to get in this business, especially if they do it as a second fiddle to whatever their main thing is, right? Which might be sphere of influence or realtors, and they just want to throw on some leads on there, right? And they cannot know they can be so close to having a good strategy. So they have a handle, they have a barrel of a gun, but they just don't have the trigger, right? And that was like one of the biggest things I sort of learned. And I think just my mindset of failing and getting back up, failing and getting back up, failing and getting back up leads you to eventually coming into a space where you can have all those pieces. So that way you can really fire off and have some productivity. But with you guys, I mean, one of the main pieces is when that client sort of engages you, how sticky is what you're presenting them with, you know, to get the information you need, right? So your piece is extremely important in the whole process. You do have to have the other pieces tuned correctly. You can't completely depend on that piece, but you'll find if you don't have that funnel and those questions aren't positioned right and all the work that you guys have like cut out for us in a sense, if that's not present, then you won't be successful. So I think that's one of the biggest pieces for me I sort of learned.
Yeah, it's kind of a trip when you start to realize that, wow, just the color of the button or the fact that we ask this many questions instead of this many questions, that starts to make a difference, you know. And in your world, you guys make a lot of money when you close a deal. When you do a good job for a client, you've earned your payday, right? So that difference of we were talking, I think, a little bit before this started, of 1% even in terms of your lead conversion rate, like plus or minus 1%. Do that all year long. You go up by 1% because you fixed something or you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Versus the other way, it has a big impact. It ends up being literally tens of thousands of dollars in money in your bank account, or it's out the window. And it's hard for a lot of people to track or know what to do, you know? So I think I hear that a lot with the platform, people like that. I jump in, I can literally, you know, I need traffic for sure. It's not like it's this magical lead creating thing. You got to get traffic to it, but at least I have that to worry about and focus on, which is a little bit easier. People don't know how to fix the conversion problem. Traffic, if you have money to spend, you can get traffic. If you want to put some effort into it, you can do social media and do things for free, even to drive traffic. It's that conversion piece that so many people are missing, and so many people are getting traffic and they assume it's not working because the conversion piece isn't there. They're trying to drive all of it to a 1003 application, and they're wondering why it's not working. And they're assuming that, oh, you know what? I've tried Google, I tried Facebook, I tried some of this stuff. It doesn't work for me for whatever reason. I'm just, you know, it just didn't work when I tried it. And it's the wrong conclusion to jump to.
Yeah. The blame is misplaced. And that, I think that's 90% of what you see out there when you're hearing, you see the complaints and the different boards and the chat rooms and all that kind of stuff. It's looking at, you're looking at the wrong source. And then once you're able to, that's why I put so much energy in trying to learn this stuff. And once you're able to, you know, look at some conversion ratios and say, hey, okay, I think I have this maybe kind of figured out, then at that point, your business model has opened up, because now you can feel comfortable with putting, you know, more dollars over here or putting more dollars over there, and start thinking about, well, okay, I want to do maybe a social media campaign. I want to do my own podcast, and I want to do it. So most people go immediately to the podcast and think that's going to produce deals for them, right? And that's not necessarily going to happen. Yeah, you might get traffic, and then it just, you know, you get the fire and it just fizzles out, right? So you just need to have something when that iron strikes, you know, to be able to capture some of that magic in a sense. Yeah. That's what you guys have really keyed in. I think one of the only companies that has keyed in on that, because there's companies that just throw a questionnaire sort of out there with no rhyme or reason, you know, nothing that really hooks in that client, right? So that's like the major difference. So yeah, how does it feel to have no competition?
It's a funny thing because people in our space trying to do the same kind of thing, but I think we do definitely have a unique approach to it. Yeah. And we're just relentless on that conversion piece. I feel like that's the thing that if you don't have that right, you can copy and kind of replicate and do things from a distance. If you don't really get it and you're just kind of copying superficially without understanding, you're not going to get it right. And if you miss just a couple key things, your conversion rate's 8% when it should be 16%. Yeah. That's a huge loss for that client, you know, if they don't have those things right. So, yeah. And we're, as you saw right before this call, I gave you a sneak peek at some stuff. We're not resting, man. We're next level constantly of what's next. What can we do to improve this thing? I was joking with someone on the team not long ago that eventually I want to hire someone that works on like slot machines, like, and like does the casino. I want them to come and be like, what would you do to our lead form to like apply some of those principles? You know, we like the gamification, like make it fun, make it interactive, even subtle things that happen. Like when you answer the question, something explodes, the progress meter grows. It kind of does this whole animated thing. I think there's just something there. I don't know if I can give people Bitcoins for every question they answer or something. I don't know. I gotta keep them coming in, you
Well, that's
know?
why you're staying. That's why you're out in front, because you were constantly, you know, you don't rest on any laurels. You know, keep on, you know, double down, double down, double down, 10x, right?
Yep.
Well, that's
Yep.
mentality.
So what's your favorite feature or benefit that you get out of LeadPops?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I would say a thing that I'm probably benefit, or probably I'll go a little bit deeper and say most appreciative of, um, is you guys helped me, even with my knowledge, all the way up to 2019, right? So that's from 2012-ish when I got into the business to 2019. I'm constantly, half my time is spent on the lead aggregation piece and understanding and trying to stay out in front of like all these other lenders, whether it be new ones coming to the market that weren't there when I started, like Better Mortgage, for example, right? And then our JG Wentworth, who I thought just did annuities, but now all of a sudden I'm competing with them, right? And all these, and then you have your staples with Quicken and Loan Depot and AmeriSave, all those good guys. But the one thing that's been really cool, and I had to compete with them like in the Zillow platform or in the LendingTree platform. But the thing I'm most appreciative for is you guys providing a product that gave me enough confidence to unplug, you know, from them completely, right? So I don't spend $1 with any of them anymore, right? And that is as of 2020. So my LendingTree rep, right, will see my post on like LinkedIn. You're like, well, I guess you're not. Should we just? You won't be using your account here anymore, then, huh? And I was like, I hope not. Don't completely cancel it yet. This is towards the beginning of the year. Don't completely cancel it yet. But yeah, you see where I'm going. So like, well, good for you. But yeah, just giving me, you know, that's a big thing. Like, especially when you do something for that, like you have, like this is the model that sort of works. This is what you're accustomed to. But going into your guys' system, seeing the proof of concept, knowing your history that you've worked with, you know, some of these big companies and really help them increase their value, because I'm sure Baker had a ton of traffic but just didn't know what the hell to do with it. And I've seen the progression of those companies from when they used to be cost per click, right? When it was just like they're just trying to just sell the traffic, to where it became an actual revenue strategy where they completely shifted their vision, right? And that was because it wasn't because of traffic. The traffic's been there. It was because of the ability to convert the traffic, right? So this has been a long project. You've been working on me and didn't even know you were working on me, right? So now I'm sort of like now in this like new arena in a sense, right? So first comes the confidence, you know, proof of concept. Okay, we can stand up on our own two peg legs, and then they get some muscles on them, and that's sort of where we're at now. So I'm appreciative of that, and I would encourage whether you were, you know, like me, where you're spending a lot of money before with these lead aggregators and you're looking to go independent. I think that's an easier transition, because you want to stop spending this exorbitant amount of money. Or you're a person that just hasn't looked into, you know, lead aggregation yet. You should still, you know, try to make sure that a certain amount of your business is coming from that lead aggregation, because you know, we continue to have, and it's not gonna change. People are gonna continue to shop, you know, online. We can see, I mean, we're getting, even with I'm glad that we're in this position, because even with the leads that we're getting, whether it be Facebook or this place or that place, they're not 5 people that we're competing with, but even those individuals filling out one form, they're filling out forms elsewhere. So overall, marketing, display advertising has improved immensely in our arena, and we need to kind of protect ourselves as practitioners and make sure that we have something out there too in the space. So that's sort of it.
That's awesome, man. Unplugging and being able to wean yourself off of buying leads from like a middleman, right?
Right.
You know, we use the tagline, take back your leads, because we feel like they're just stealing your clients from you, kind of. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. They kind of wedge themselves between you and the consumer.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they get the contact info, and now they're just selling it to anyone and everybody they can. And it's like, hey, you know, do some of these same things. And maybe if you're buying leads right now, I don't want to tell anybody that you're just going to sign up with LeadPops and just unplug what's paying the bills. But can we start to say, hey, instead of maybe 5 or 10 grand a month or 2,000 or whatever a month, can I cut back a little bit on that, put it into my own marketing and lead gen,
Yeah.
And what I really like about it that I don't think not a lot of people think about, or at least in conversations when I bring this point up, they're like, I didn't even think about that. It's you're giving Zillow or LendingTree money to put Zillow and LendingTree out there, and you're kind of in the shadows buying somebody's information. You pop up on the back end, you call them. No one even saw you throughout that whole process. Like your branding, your name, none of it is apparent, and it's not brought to the forefront. When you're doing this, what you're doing with Mount Diablo Lending, that's the logo, that's the name, that's the company people are seeing, that's what they're getting to know, that's what's becoming a brand that people recognize and trust. Instead of giving it to Zillow, letting them do all that, building Zillow up, and then all of a sudden, right, we all know what Zillow's trying to do in the long run, but and we tell clients, don't overthink it. It's buttons and links. You put a content piece up, copy and paste a link to a funnel that's relevant to the topic and direct people to, hey, see if you're eligible. I gave you like 3 tips on why a VA loan is a lot better than you might think, or whatever the kind of knowledge that you want to drop about a topic. So it's not just a sales pitch, right? So we always try to teach our clients, blend good information, good content, but don't forget the call to action at the end. And all it is literally grab a link to a lead funnel, copy and paste it into the post. You know, if it's a video, tell people in the video, hey, if you're interested in learning more, click the link below, see if you're eligible for a 203K loan. It only takes like 60 seconds, answer a couple quick questions, and you're just directing people back to that lead funnel, you know, and you can put that on anything.
And it's funny you say that too, because that's the feeling they get, that they're going to the lead funnel and they're answering a couple questions pretty quickly, but it's put together so well, the flow, that as I tell my team, I was like, listen, this isn't just like a Facebook sort of capture where they're passing over three pieces of contact information, right? Yeah. These people went through, I think our funnel has like 21 questions or something like that, yeah. 21, 22 questions. So you actually had to sit there and go through and think about consciously, and then at the end it asks for your contact information, so you had to put that in as well. So that's the other aspect that we probably really should touch on. It's not just getting that individual to give you some information, but it's sort of like qualifying that lead. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's just time. That's all we have. All of us we're trying to take through mortgages, we're trying to turn time into money, right? So if you're sitting there buying leads with a bunch of people that are not going to answer the phone, really not that interested, passively looking, all that sort of thing, I don't want those. All leads are not created equal, right? There has to be some filtration system to make sure that our time is being spent in a way that there's an ROI there, right? So that was another big piece, and I would say like nice contributing factor that leadPops brings to the table, that they're not going to only help you capture that lead, but they're going to make sure that that person, you know, is of quality on a conversion ratio sort of metric, to where it's worth it. There's an ROI there. So that's the other part you guys think about, and I think where you guys are providing value.
Yeah, like you said, all leads are not created equal, and you know, our clients would rather get 10 good leads than 100 who knows, right? And there's maybe 10 good ones somewhere in there. I got 100, now I got to waste a whole bunch of time burning through all these phone calls and attempts to reach people who aren't that serious, right? So there's kind of a built-in, like you said, filter in that question and answer process, and the beauty of it is, I think there's a sweet spot. Like too many questions for obvious reasons, people are going to drop off, right? Too few questions, people bounce because you jumped in to give me your contact info too quickly, right? Or there's not really a commitment, so they'll give you Bart Simpson or Batman with a fake phone number, right? There's this kind of a sweet spot we found. We've tested this stuff out, and we had in some of our early days clients that demanded. I remember back in the bank rate days, we had a client who just insisted we cut the form down. He said, too many questions. People are not going to fill this out. I want 3 steps. I want it to be simplified. We didn't want to do it. Especially we were kind of resource thin at this time. This is a big thing for us to have to do. So he said, I don't care. I'm going to pay $1,000 for you guys to just build me a customized, shorter version of the form. We said, okay, we'll do it. We tested it out. 2 weeks later, he's like, put me back on the original. My lead conversion went down into the gutter, and my manager's going to kill me because I don't have enough leads for my sales team, right? So it was funny to kind of see that firsthand. And then over the years working with Bankrate and also even with Zillow, and we were working with them for about a year, we did get to test stuff. You know, how many questions, what colors. Like we made a button orange. We thought that was the right way to go. A client said, make mine green, because I don't like the orange. It kills my brand. You guys need to do green. we actually put a tool called Optimizely on it to say, we don't think you should go that route because it just blends too far into the page.
Yeah.
But we want to put a tool to see what's going to actually happen. So we ran an A/B test. Conversion rate went down by like 2 or 3 percentage points.
Yeah.
Immediately said, put it back on orange. My marketing team's wrong. I don't care what they say.
Right.
So we got to see some of that stuff in real time.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, that lead quality makes such a difference. And what you're doing once you get the lead, I think makes a big difference as well, that everyone, needs to think about. And what you're doing is pretty special. I don't know that everybody can plug into their own follow-up world the way you've built yours out, but there are definitely some tools and some things that can assist with that. Anything you can share about what you do when a lead comes in that helps you convert the lead into a loan?
Yeah. You have to look at it as it's definitely a relay race. Everybody's playing their part, right? So if you're the third leg out there, you're helping us get the person in, and the front two legs are either the social media strategy or like me, a lot of the spend on Facebook and all that sort of thing. We have to be able to bring it home. And I think that's where even the people that are successful in 1, 2, and 3, fourth, becomes the hardest, right? Because now you're dealing with personnel, and now this is where the real competition comes in, the shopping. How do you retain the person after they've done the application, all that sort of thing. So yeah, this is something that like I've sort of been challenged. It's been a challenge for me as well, because as an individual practitioner, like I'm pretty good, right? If I'm getting on the phones and I'm calling and I'm doing quotes and let me get your recapture ratio. Oh, you want a 15-year too? Okay, let me give you a 15. So that's great. So I can do it. Even when I try to train some loan officers to come in and do it, it's difficult. It's difficult for them to do that same thing. And I think that's how I became like top originators. Came in doing leads and giving quotes and being able to give value right after someone fills out a form, like very quickly after someone fills out a form. So I think that's the first thing that you really need to have after your lead comes in is speed, right? Speed to contact. And company that's come down to a game of seconds, right? Whether you're playing with Quicken or you're playing with Better, any of these guys, they're looking at it from a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 second sort of perspective. We can have access to those type of tools as well. For us, what our IT stack looks like at this point is 5.9 on the dialer. So I have people that are dialing those leads immediately. So that's within seconds that happens. And then from there, that's actually a call center. So they're just engaging the person, thanking them for filling out the form and sort of qualifying some of the information, making sure that it's all right on the form. Oh, no, I actually did want a cash out loan. Or no, my loan amount is actually not in this range. It's 423 exactly, not 440, So, you refine some of that data, and you do that for, to protect the time of the loan officers. By the time the loan officer gets in there, they have a real deal. A person is truly interested and ready to have a conversation around getting, either a lower rate or some cash out or a lower term. Then you can start selling the recapture period. But it's really about the speed first, and then I've been beating into my team. What's the net tangible benefit? What are we really doing here, like for the client? So let's quickly get in contact with them. Let's refine the data, make sure that it's what they want, it's the loan amounts and everything are right. We understand what they want. And then boom, let's hit the net tangible benefit. And then let's try to close the deal, right? So you need a strategy somewhere around that. So, that's the high level strategy. And then your systems need to come in line with that strategy as well, right? So if you're going to be giving quotes out and you have a high number of leads coming in, you got to have something that can produce quotes quickly, right? So that's sort of what we've been working on. We feel like we've been successful at the part of what kind of content and ads to put out on the mediums to get traffic. So we're now successful with capturing that client once they fill out the form. It's a leadPops. Good to see you guys. We're all hooked up because you guys have done a great job with the Zapier connections and all that stuff. So that stuff plugs in nice and all that data comes over clean every single time. That's important. And now where our focus really is like the conversion, right? How do we get that client into an application, keeping them sticky with us all the way through the process is where we're at. And we've kind of, we're doing that in Salesforce. We're integrating a lot of things into Salesforce. A lot of automation, yeah, and a lot of net tangible benefit, a lot of value out in front of the customer. So that's it.
Yeah, man, that's you're building something pretty incredible. And it's just that's Rome wasn't built overnight. I've been seeing you piece by piece.
Yeah.
You're sharing, you talk to our team about things are starting to plug, and all of a sudden you look back, even if you were to look back, I'm sure a couple months at where you were, and like,
Yeah.
oh, so happy I'm not going through that right now.
Right. And it's a difficult time because the rates dropped. So I have all my clients that's hard for me to like service, right? Because I'm spending all this time building out the system. So I've kind of made the decision to forego money that's on the table now to spend more money, to spend money and try to build something for the longer term. So we'll see how that goes.
Hey, same boat, man. Exact same thing. I'm like, all of it's going back into product, team, people. I don't care. It's coming in. Perfect. Let's spend it and make it better, because it's all about what's the future. So that's really cool to see that. So as far as your let me ask actually a little bit deeper on that. Number of attempts to convert a lead when a lead comes in. I mean, a lot of people, I think, give up way too soon. They'll make a call or two, they get a voicemail, and they're like, oh, that lead's no good, and they give up. Any metrics about how much or how often or how many attempts your team makes on average, maybe, when a lead comes in before you get it to that next tier?
Yeah, major problem in lead aggregation that I see: quitting too early. Yeah. So quitting too early on an individual lead, like look at each one of those as like a little seed. That's how I see it. It's like I use a gardening reference and analogies a lot. I know my staff is so tired of hearing about gardening. I don't really garden, but
I want to hear them. I haven't heard this. Let's hear about the seed.
Yeah, this is the seed and the irrigation system and this and the bears fruit, and I just want you to come over and take the fruit off. Yeah, but that's all. But that's how I kind of like explain a lot of these things. But hold on, now tell me again. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was the question that you?
Just the number of attempts. Do you have any? Just
we do. It's very specific. So with the dialer in the Philippines, we tested it out a lot, right? So we'll call the person on the first day like 3 times, and we'll do that for 3 days. All right. We'll do a double tap in the beginning. So calls them. A lot of times they won't pick up the phone. Call them again right away. They think that it's somebody that's, something's going on. I need to pick up.
There is.
We'll do a double
Mount Diablo. Yeah, to talk to you.
Hey, I got you. I'm here. I'm ready for you. Right. We always want to do a double tap in the beginning, and then you want to go through, and then you can weigh it. Like it's different it depends on the lead source. So on LendingTree, I was way more aggressive with the dialer than I am on Facebook leads, right? So
you're competing with multiple people, right? That's versus
so you can call for 7 days, then you get 7 days off, then you get 7 days on again, and then you go on to nurture. But if you look at the total number of attempts on the dialer, there are 24 attempts, right? Now that doesn't mean that somebody's going to get called 24 times. They might put me on the spam list or whatever somewhere during the time, and the phone call may never hit, right? But nonetheless, we're going to make that many attempts on the dialer. So that's just the dialer. Then we're hooked up with Volley now, where they do the email communication basically. So we have about 42 different emails that go out that talk about, like, there's just different pieces that we try to engage. Like there's surveys, and there's landing pages, and there's email, so it's all this other stuff that we try to use to get them to engage. And that actually, the strategy of that kind of stretches out over 6 months. All right, so I mean, it tones itself down, and then I kind of put a like another trigger in there, which wasn't part of their system, where if rates do drop substantially, I can just do a mass sort of shootout to everyone, and that email is already built. It's like, hey, you may want to look into this, because rates are coming down. We're on standby. We can help. You're part of our client base. So we haven't even done the text messaging piece yet, but that's coming. And this is all.
So you haven't started that. That's going to be big. That's going to be big for sure.
Yeah, and our big thing is, I'm going to just continue on down the line. So there's the other problem we have, like other people have, is personnel, right? The amount of leads that we're able to produce in excess of what we can service, even with the automation that we have, right? So a lot of people ask me like the conversion ratios. I was like, I can't give you true numbers yet because I don't have the staff to go through and service the leads the way that they should be, right?
Yeah.
So we have people that are scheduled for a phone call back that will accidentally not call, right? Like, God, that one, So it's kind of I guess you could say it's a good problem to have. It's like, you can't build it out perfect. I can't, it's like we tried, we were very successful through April, May, June, and July and August. That's when we kind of opened up the filter on the stuff, and leads really started pouring in to a level where I was like, it was like a long-term goal. So I think in August we produced 10,000 leads, right? So I never thought that we would produce 10,000. I always, if I could produce 10,000 leads one month, that'd be, but it was more of a outside. When I joke, I'm serious, but yeah, I didn't think that. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of duplicates in there, and you have to have the system to be able to like handle a lot of that stuff. But even at 10%, duplicates, it still was a massive number. So
That's serious.
It's been interesting to say the least. Now what we're really trying to do is put get the UI in place, the consumer facing UI, which will sit in Salesforce community, so that a lot of consumers can start to self-serve to a certain extent, and building out that piece. So
nice.
Yeah.
It's going to be harder and harder to catch up with you, Ramon.
Hey, like you said, you got to keep on running.
That's what you got to do, right? Exactly. Every time they start to even catch up, it's like, oh, you don't even know what about to release next. Have fun,
right.
Right. So, it's a good mindset to have. And there's a lot of clients, I think, or people in the mortgage space that might be watching this, that Ramon's doing a whole lot. He's advanced. You're a power user. You're a smart marketing guy. And, there's some certain tools out there and systems that leadPops can help with, that we can plug people into. It's not your call center in the Philippines. It's not your own homegrown resource, but there's some different ways that we can help with lead follow-up, appointment setting, things like that. Because your average loan officer, they get overwhelmed, I think, a lot of times when they start to hear all this, and they're thinking, that's not me. I could never get there. And I don't know that your average loan officer could become Ramon Walker and what you've built, but there are definitely some things out there that leadPops can assist with, just to make some of this stuff happen for you in terms of the lead follow-up, the number of times you got to call. Because a lot of times otherwise it's the loan officer trying to do it themselves. And I think that's where the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
They're doing the loans. They're the ones meeting with realtors. Then they're doing their own lead gen. And now they're trying to call, let's just even say 50 to 100 leads a month. That breaks them, and for a good reason. That's understandable. So I think anytime you're doing your own marketing and lead generation, you either have to build something out like what Ramon has, or if you're a leadPops client or interested in talking to us, we do have some really strong partners we work with that can at least take care of that appointment setting, call follow-up stuff on your behalf, because that does get daunting. And I don't think a loan officer, a producer, should be the one calling internet leads. Honestly, I think you should step in when the handoff happens and the qualification has been secured. Now you can step in and do the rest of the process in that job. But
you can do this on different scales. Yeah, I know when you listen to what it is I'm talking about, it does seem like, oh gosh, this is like, it's too big of a mountain to try to climb. I'm just going to stay away from the lead aggregation altogether. But then keep in mind, like, even my path has been, it started with $500, right? Probably less than that, $250 or whatever, and into a system, and then okay, got this in. And so that's the beautiful thing about the mortgage industry, not just in the lead aggregation piece, but all together. Even as you look at the companies that have control the whole market now, right? So if you look at UWM, and that's United Shore, right? A 30-year history that was doing $200-300 million a year in 2001, 2, and 3, and now look at them. This is not a business where you can just. I mean, they do. Some of the venture people come in and do it, but even with the venture money coming in, they're still giving it to individuals who have been in this business for a long time and kind of have that history. But you have to, in the mortgage space, you have to build. It is an organic process. You can't just skip from, you know, A to P. You don't get to jump in this business, right? Everybody has to put in their dues, everybody has to put in their work. So don't think of, if you're coming in thinking I'm going to be on P automatically, then you just have the wrong, it's just the wrong mindset. You know, when you're coming into something new, like I'm going to do some lead aggregation. Well, come in from the perspective, I'm going to start on A, I'm going to try to get to B and C and D, right? And then things will open up for you in a sense. So you don't want to come in trying to bite off too much, because you know, this business will definitely choke you, but it'll taste real good if you take little pieces at a time. So
yeah, it's
I
like
think key.
There's a gumball machine aspect to it. You put in a quarter,
yep,
you get the gumball comes out, and you can start to do that as you get data, and you're like, okay, I've gotten to a point where I can see consistently we spend, you know, $1,000, we close a loan. Right now, it's just a matter of scaling that and reinvesting. You know, a lot of people, I think, still don't look at that long term. I closed a couple deals instead of, you know, maybe not being, I don't know if the responsible is the right word, but just not being savvy about how, hey, take a chunk of that, put that right back into my marketing and start building that machine. And over months and years, you know, you get to this level where you can entirely cut out, you know, having to get leads from a middleman. And, you know, a question I actually had for you also was about referral partners, real estate agents. Is that at all your world, or do you do any of that kind of stuff? Or are you so much in the consumer direct game that you're not even spending too much time there?
I still don't do much of it. However, you know, there's a certain level of service that's required in order to sustain those type of relationships, right? You're not really, it's not like it's not a bad race to the bottom sometimes gets looked at as a bad phrase or whatnot. But when talking about the amount of compensation one can get, you know, on a loan, but the reality is, as more people shop, and we've even seen it just because of COVID, like margins are like suppressed now. I used to do all no cost loans, right? Enough lender credit to cover all the costs. And that's just not on the table now. Everybody wants a two something, you know, but they've got to bring some, you know, money to the table. So it's very interesting how the business kind of changed even in the last 6 or 7 months. But I think I haven't completely figured out how to do purchase on a lead aggregation sort of level. You can bring in the leads, but then after you bring in the leads, they need to be worked in a fragmented way by particular agents that are going to spend time with those individuals, whether that means educating the consumer from what they, you know, first time home buyer programs are and this and that. So you've got to have those pieces sort of in place, whether it be a video library or this, you know, it's got to be something that's built out. As my mind just kind of like goes, and how would you do that? That it is something that we're looking at. Like we talked about before the call, there was a friend of mine that's buying a lot of leads, and we're trying to get space on his website to be able to capture some of those leads or whatnot. But I think that's another piece that we're really focusing on as we get close to like MVP on our project. We want to look at that realtor side of the business and have our systems be able to really help with, you know, that lead aggregation for the realtor business. And that might just be, for us, that might just mean, you know, we're able to provide the software to practitioners to be able to do it instead of like trying to do those loans ourselves or whatnot. But yeah, that's sort of where we're at on the purchase side of things.
So, okay. So MVP, next stage or future stuff you're working on or looking at. Yeah. And, you know, I think you mentioned in your kind of breakdown of where you're at, having the right realtor partners. You know, if you're handing off, let's just say you generated a consumer direct lead, they don't have an agent. When you make that introduction, you got to have the right real estate agent partner. It doesn't turn into anything, right? A lot of times when you generate a lead consumer direct, they're still maybe 6 months out, maybe a year out.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not a good lead. You got to them first. That's great. But now you got to work that lead and keep in front of them, and, you know, identifying good partners on the real estate side who are somewhere near your level of savvy, but doing this for themselves is always important. And one of my favorite ways to kind of identify that or start that search for anyone that's interested in going down that path is just looking for realtors in your market that are on the first page of Google because they're paying for it. If they're there, if I type in your market, your area, your city, and the words real estate or the words homes for sale, and I find that these are the realtors in my area that are paying to be on the first page of Google, that's a good sign and a good starting point to have a new conversation, you know, and be able to say, hey, we're doing a lot of consumer direct marketing. We see you're doing Google ads. We'd love to partner up with you. We're generating this many leads per month. Want to see if we can partner together and actually work together to generate leads and generate business, and not come at this, you know, as a mortgage company with our handout, just asking you for referrals. You know, we're probably going to be referring you more leads than you refer us, and we're cool with that. Yeah. But having that conversation, I think, is it's kind of fun when you can use that approach as a mortgage originator, and come at that conversation with a little bit more confidence, and not just kind of, you know, that same old realtor pitch where I've got great rates and service, and, you know, send us a client and we'll do a great job for them. You know, that makes that realtor conversation pretty difficult.
Yeah. Those realtors that are on those pages too, they have a nice structure in a sense, right? So they have their their new realtors on their team, right? That are learning, that can service this stuff relatively quickly. So that's what I was going to really say. It is important, and that's one thing that we'll look for as we spend dollars on the purchase side of it, is that the network or the infrastructure is strong on their end. And you're right, that's one good clue or indicator to try to, you know, as you filter through and try to find these people. A lot of people say that it's easy to say that, okay, I have this, I have this, I have that. You get down the road and the leads are coming in. Now you guys are flopping. But if somebody is already, you know, the proof is in the pudding. They're spending the money, and they're up there. Whether it might not be spending the money, they might organically be able to be present. But that means that they're conscious to how this stuff works, and likely have a good strategy and infrastructure set up too. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And researching, like we looked at SEMrush for something before this call. That's a great one. You know, anytime you run a realtor site through SEMrush, you're like, look at that guy spending $3,000 a month on Google ads. That's going to be pulling a lot of traffic. You can see this stuff before you even make a phone call. So you can prepare and know who you're talking to in a conversation, figuring out what's their CRM. If they list a couple of the bigger ones or better ones that are out there, that's a good example of an agent that's probably doing a little bit more than maybe one who's like on, I don't know, like Top Producer, or I don't know, something their broker provided to them that they don't even really use.
Right.
Do you have an inside sales agent or an ISA or something similar and along those lines? If they've got someone working their lead, that's all good. A good sign of someone that you can partner with relatively easily, and they'll see the results. Otherwise, what happens a lot of times, I've seen this so many times with mortgage originators, they start some of this lead gen stuff. They start passing off leads and making introductions. They give them to a realtor who's no better than they are at this stuff. Yeah. The realtor calls one or two leads. Now the realtor is upset or telling you the leads you're giving them suck. And it's like, you know something, you suck.
Right. That relationship goes down the drain, right? And that's the important thing about systems. That's like for example, I don't know how good they do, but they got bought out. Is that OpCity, you know, from Realtor.com bought OpCity. They might not be that great, but all they simply did was try to put everybody together and have some kind of platform where follow-up was recorded. Like, did this person call? Did you take them out? Did you do this? Your turn, sort of thing, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's the sort of thing that needs to be established, or you got to try to put it into some kind of system to make it work when you're orchestrating those three people, which is different from the refinance side when you have two entities, just the loan officer and the
more within your control, right?
Yep, exactly.
So KPIs, you mentioned lots of leads. I mean, thousands. Yeah. I don't know how many of our, you know, I know you're doing many different things. Any numbers you can share with leads from leadPops?
Yeah.
Loans closed, money made. That's what everyone cares about.
Yeah, everybody cares about
them 500 leads a month. They're like, I don't care. Did he make any money? Like, how many? What's the commission check look like?
Right.
You can share.
I'll tell you one thing: the commission checks are a lot lower than they used to be. Everybody can kind of empathize with that. They're driving us down these margins. But what that means is we do more loans. That's right. So there's more loans to be done, and we gotta knock them out and do them.
And you do them quicker, right? You do them quicker, less time spent per loan, right?
Right. We have to be quicker. All those things that you're saying right now are for me, I look at it just like problems. Like how do we solve problems? And that's where I kind of go, right? So
Yep.
um, we look at 10,000, look at 10,000 leads. It doesn't matter how many leads I get if I have the capacity to close 25 or I have
Right.
the capacity to close 30. The more leads are not going to help me close anymore. Actually, then it can have the opposite effect, if you're not prepared or whatnot. So simultaneously, that we're doing this lead aggregation strategy. For us, we're building out Salesforce, and then the third piece I've been working on is the personnel and the staff, right? So we added, my operations team is now is 14 people, and the majority of them are new, right? So we got rid of a lot of the processors that were the traditional processors that we had are not with us anymore. We went to an assembly line sort of model, right? So, and we're able to do this because the Salesforce strategy is based on, a lot of it's based on task, right? So this is really what we're doing. We're completely changing because of our ability to get in a high number of leads. We're changing the way that we service the business through and through, not just the sales piece, not just that's one part of the strategy. Even if I get them in, take an application, then they have a poor experience and they're out the door, right?
Yeah.
Now they know that they are interested in a mortgage and have their documents gathered up. I'm going to get back online and call Loan Depot and see what they can do for me. And my package is already here. So we even dealt with some of that. Like, we're getting a ton of applications in, but we're not converting them as well as we should. So that's something to give thought to as you're going all the way through this. It's not just, it's the lead part, getting them in, converting them to applications. We're extremely good at that. And then when you get this abundance of applications, you have to close them, right? You have to make sure that you're asking for those. You're looking at the preliminary report. Do they have solar panels? Is there additional HELOC? All this stuff, you can't come out after the approval. It needs to come out before. You need to be looking at that stuff before because you don't have as much time to service all of these deals. So if you look at, the numbers have gone down substantially still, but I'm really excited about what the potential is. So if you look at the real dollars, let's get into some dollars now. We'll start with the spend, right? So you can go to Facebook Ad Library and see anybody's ads on Facebook, right? So you can see what everybody's out there doing. But with our ads, we started off with a lot of them. I was like, I want an ad for I want a library. I want a whole, encyclopedia of ads, Veterans Day, 4th of July, this, that, everything, right? So we started like that. And then we had to parse down on the ads that were effective, the ones that gave us the highest return. Now I think we run nothing more than, let me just do this real quick, nothing more than, now we run nothing more than like 7 to 10 ads, I think, or maybe 7 to 12 different ads that we find most effective. And those were producing all these leads. Facebook works very interestingly, almost like the old cost per, not exactly cost per click, not cost per acquisition either. It's just the amount of money you want to spend on that particular ad, right? And you're going to spend that amount. They're going to find a way to make sure that you spend that amount every day. And then it just depends on how many leads you're getting from that spend. So at the start, I was like, oh, this is terrible. I'm spending $40 per lead, right? And then as we started to get it refined, we got down to 20. I'm like, okay, that's better. I can breathe. And then 16, and then 12, and then 9, and then 7, right? So we got down as far as, I think our best, and this goes every day, right? Every day we're looking at this. I got down to around $3.50, $4 per lead is where we're at. And that's produced, so I spent about $35,000 over the course of the month, because the way it was set up, and Facebook will hit your card every night. So every night it was like $900, $900, $900, $900, $900, right? $950, whatever it is, between $900 and $1,000 every day, right? So we spent $30,000 and we're getting about 10,000 leads. The following month we got a little bit less, probably about 8,000 or 8,500 for the same spend. So we're somewhere between there. So you could say between $3 and I don't know, $6 per lead, $5 or $6. On the number of loans closed, I think we closed like, in the first month we closed like 50 something loans. This month we have like, we closed, I think we're at 30 something loans so far this month, but we have probably like 160 locks. So you're starting to see those numbers go upwards, right? So you start, you know, and we put a pause on the leads for now until we can, it was just too much. Like you know, it's like trying to drink. It's not even drink out of a fire. I can drink out of a fire hose. This is something. It's like Niagara Falls. You know, like standing under Niagara Falls. So it's like, but when you look at the numbers, those numbers are still better. If I take 30,000 divided by 53 loans or 54 loans or whatever we close, that's a pretty low number for me, right? That's a good number because on LendingTree and Zillow, it's upwards of $2,000 per closed loan, right?
Yeah.
So if you're looking at it just from high level, the acquisition cost is much better on what we're doing with Facebook. You're closer to around $660 per.
Yeah, I just saw that.
So that allows you to come down in margin and actually win all the time, right?
Yeah.
Some of these loans, I'll be honest with you guys, man. Some of these loans, I'm making like $3,000 on, right? I'm not making a lot. And then I do have, you know, I hire 14 people, you know, and that's just on the operations side. I hired some people on the outside, then I have all my Salesforce stuff. So we're pushing it back in, but we are getting to the point where we want to be a company that's closing hundreds of loans per month, right? We want to be 200, 300. We think we can get up to 400 or 500 loans per month, just off of the strategy, the proof of concept that we've kind of walked through over this last 6 months, and we think we'll be there. We'll have everything kind of done towards the beginning of the year. So that's one exciting piece for Mount Diablo Lending. But the Mount Diablo Lending piece is just the proof of it is the proof of concept, because what we're actually going out and doing, we see the problem. There's a big problem where a lot of people are going to be able to produce leads now. Some people might not even be interested in producing leads because rates are so low and they have people calling them, right? But for those that are interested in producing leads, you still have that time. You have that time issue. Like, we don't have the call center. We don't have this. We don't have that. So even with our Salesforce, it's kind of like a two-pronged strategy. Yes, we're using it for Mount Diablo Lending, but the way we built it, Salesforce is built on what you call orgs. We built it so that we can license out multiple orgs. So we'll be stepping into the space next year and kind of assisting people that are interested in doing lead aggregation, and not only the strategy around how to make the leadPops funnel successful, how to bring it some noise in a sense, all the way through, you know, closing and task and hiring, and, you know, because all the tasks are associated with different roles. So it's a big gambit. You have to know, like, I have a disclosure specialist, I have outside condition chasers, I have a submission specialist. You know, as when I put a new file in, the tasks automatically start being assigned to these different people. So we want to get away from like our Excel sheets and I have a checklist. You know, everybody has a checklist. That's not gonna cut it, because Quicken's out there. There's no checklist. There's no paper over there. There's no paper over there. There's no Excel sheet over there. I mean, before I was like 7, 8 Excel sheets deep. My Salesforce guy said, they're like laughing at me, and I was like, I got offended. I was like, hey, what are you doing laughing at me? I produce, right? I was like, my Excel sheets work, right? But as they took me down the road and showed me more stuff and things that we can actually do, I was like, okay, yeah, all right, I might be able to get away with that Excel sheet and that one, but I'm going to keep this one. They're like, no, you're not going to keep any of these Excel sheets. Yeah. So that's sort of full circle what we're doing, and I'm really excited to link up with the strong players in the space, such as yourself, and just really bring all 4 legs of the relay to the practitioner, so we can kick some ass. I want to kick some Quicken ass. Everybody knows I like to get them on the phone and take them out, but I want to live vicariously through other people too. I want you to go kick their ass, and you to kick their ass, and you kick better's ass, and I want to hear about it. Right? Same way you feel. So that's it.
So are you, so it sounds like you're going to kind of productize some of the stuff you're building for Mount Diablo and turn it into, is it other branches for Mount Diablo, or is it creating something that I could license? Let's just say if I was another mortgage company, maybe in a different state or in a different, somewhere else, that I could say, hey, can I plug your back end system and use that to do everything it's doing for Mount Diablo?
Exactly. Mount Diablo lending is just a proof of concept
Nice.
for the licensing, right? So we want to come when we come to market. We want to say that there's proof in the pudding, and this is the pudding. This is what we've been able to do with it, and just take that fourth leg. It's really all about that fourth leg. That's where I saw the weakness, and that's where I had challenges. Like, I'm a top producer, right? And I'm trying to scale, and I'm like frustrated every night, right? And I'm like, God, this is, it's driving me crazy, right? And I'm like, okay, we got to change something. Like, we all know the issues, personnel issues. You're trying to find processors that are good, and then they're leaving because they got a better deal over there, or they want more money. It's just really hard to scale. And then you find yourself working 15, 16-hour days, and you're closing 12 loans, right? This is not me. This is what I'm hearing from some of the other practitioners out there, and they want to make that leap. How do I hire somebody? Well, I'm just going to send them through this program, this training, and then you're hoping that they come back ready to go, but they're not ready to go, right? They haven't actually worked in the business. You haven't thought about the aspects of, like, okay, they know a little bit of mortgage math and they know the process, but some of them can't even handle the emotion of the business, like having a client yell at them. Yeah. So you spent $2,000 training them, a client yelled at them, and now they quit, right? And that's what we deal with on that fourth leg. We've found a better way to sort of do it, right? Yeah. And the way we're looking at it is to fragment out all of the process and not give any one person too much, right? So if you're breaking everything out in the task, like I said, whether it's like reviewing the income, ordering a prelim, doing the mortgagee clause, all these things we've already laid out, and we built them into what we call it's called a one-touch accelerator. So we've built all these tasks into the Salesforce system. So we don't only tell you what needs to be done, it's going to tell you who should be doing it. So you know how to hire as well. I need to hire. And we want the employee from Chick-fil-A that's tired. That's a great employee. Chick-fil-A has kind of vetted them. They do a great job. They understand systems and process, and they just want to now maybe look at getting something that's more like a career oriented, right? But yeah. You can take the person from Chick-fil-A, plug them into the system that we will have built, and have them all effectively bring a loan to closing, right? 100%. We'll call you'll have all the items that you need to have a one-touch at submission. Is sort of how is what our goal is with this project. So yeah, that fourth leg is the one that I saw the most problems with. It's the ones I personally had the most problems with, and it's the problem that I'm trying to help sort of like the wholesale market, the wholesale industry solve. I would like to help bring us more on an even scale with retail, because retail has a lot of this already, right? They're looking at this every day, and they have it. And then we're in a lot of cases we're strong practitioners. Not to say they're not strong practitioners on the retail side. There's great loan officers on both sides of the business, but on the wholesale side, when you're looking at optionality, I have this lender, I have that lender, I have this person over there, that person over there. I have different requirements, different documents, custom documents over there, and it's a larger lift in a sense. But if you can have, we have action plans built for UWM, right, where it says, hey, do the early CD, right? Home Point doesn't have the early CD, but UWM does, and the system will allocate that task to that particular person for that particular lender. So if you can have all that stuff lined up and automated to where you don't have to tell an individual person what to do, because that's what we hope. We hire somebody and we're like, just relieve some of the stress, right? Just relieve some of the stress. Can you do it? And then they fumble it. Then you're like, oh my God, why did I even? This was
more stress. Why didn't I just do it myself?
Right, exactly. That's what we always go back to, and that's not the answer, right? We can compete. We can continue to scale. We can take more market share. But the way we're going to take more market share is by having some of those same systems and being able to bring. A lot of us have come to the wholesale side, but what we need to do now is bring some personnel to make it easier, not so hard to work on this side as well. Yeah, and that's what that's the problem I'm working on now. That's my latest and greatest.
That's a big one. What's your timeline for having your kind of your MVP or your prototype kind of to a point where you feel you can start
Thanksgiving,
putting some testers on it?
Yeah, right after Thanksgiving will be an MVP, and then we hope to add some people that are interested during the end of the year to test it out, and they'll need to be hooked up with leadPops exactly to get some.
Got to feed the machine, right?
Right.
Otherwise, we got a beautiful machine, and it's like we got to put stuff in there, right?
Right. We're doing there's some real cool stuff. Even the stuff with you guys on leadPops, it's like the stuff is coming in from leadPops, right? The information. We're building our own UI because we didn't like any of the POSs that are out there, right? So, and we want to ask custom questions that go in line with making it easier to close that loan out and have a one touch. Like if you're in certain areas, like in California, all of them have solar panels. So that's something that we put onto our application on the POS side, right? Because we want to know and start asking, and then if that's the case, it says lease or own from there, right? And then that will trigger in the document upload to ask for that purchase agreement or to ask for that lease agreement out front instead of waiting for the approval to come back after they look at the prelim. Oh no, now I need to go get the. So this is the kind of stuff that's being done from an automated perspective, and will make the quality. It's going to be such a great consumer experience, right? And then all of these now all of a sudden all of these loan officers or these companies, right? Now they're able to scale. Now they're able to look like superstars. Now we're able to close as quick as we can really close, right? You know, right now we're only able to close with UWM like that. But if you could have that same sort of experience with some other lenders that might not be as quick because you were able to give them everything out front, then maybe they start treating you a little different and they start pulling your files out and getting them closed quick, right? So that brings our real strength and that optionality, you know, to the market. So that's what I see that we're kind of missing a little bit, and that's what I want to help everybody.
Ramon's gonna solve it, and I believe it, man. I can't wait to see what you've got. So I'll be bugging you around the new year just to kind of check in on.
Yeah, no, earlier. I'm gonna call you. I want to link up with you right after Thanksgiving turkey. After Thanksgiving turkey, then we're gonna jump on. And,
let's do it.
Show you how it works.
Awesome. So I think you mentioned just a couple more questions and we're wrapped up. Core metrics that we've had an impact on and positive impact. I think you mentioned like 53 loans closed in the last month or so. Is there an average amount you make per loan? You said that it goes low up down to 3,000, but is there an average amount?
I would say right now it's like just under $5,000.
So like $4,000.
No, more than that. Let's say 4,500 on average.
All right, not bad, right? So it comes out to about $238,000.
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you could say probably a little more than that.
That's that gumball machine we talked about, right?
Yep.
You put, it's $35,000 you crammed into the gumball machine, but it spit out like almost 240. So it's
I take all of that and spend that and some more on all this other stuff. Yeah. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
man.
How am I in the hole?
Yeah. Well, I think
so it's like it's fun stuff. But yeah, that's why we all need to get into and have a piece of it. That's why I try to tell people like, no, I have my sphere of influence, I have this, I have that. Well, while you have it and while you are making that money, invest in this strategy. Start to understand some of this strategy. Let it be 15% of your business. Start off at 5%. Just make sure there's some percentage points there, and make sure every quarter you're looking at walking them up a little bit, right? And then next thing you know, you have a business. You have a business and a business, so you have two conduits now. Rates go up. Are you refinanced everybody you knew? Then there's still other people that you're able to help out. So our business is peaks and valleys. So you gotta have those flags out there in multiple facets. So yeah, if you're looking at, okay, well, he's spending $660, $700. Let's throw another $100 on there just to round it out for the night, just in case, whatever else. So spend $800 to get a loan in, and you can make about $4,500 on the deal. It's sort of a good way to look at it, I think.
Yeah, cost per funded loan, $800. I mean, just on the marketing side, at least on that part of it.
Yeah, just on that.
Marketing, $4,500 back in, and then you had mentioned, I think, that went down from a couple $1,000s on Zillow and LendingTree, right? So you were looking at a cost per funded loan or overall cost through those channels is about $2,000, and you doing this yourself were able to drive that cost down less than half of what it was by doing your own marketing and lead gen.
And to be honest with you, like, I don't know. And yeah, the revenue was higher on those loans previously, but I haven't messed around with LendingTree leads. But if I was forced to be at $4,500 to $5,000 and able to, in order to compete on these loans, if I was using LendingTree still, then I probably it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. If I had to spend $2,300 or $2,400. So thank goodness, I decided to jump out and take this venture. Because if I didn't, who knows what the lead aggregation piece will look like. And that's just something that is, establishing your own foundation in a sense. Don't depend on X, Y, and Z, because they're going to keep. I'll be begging them to probably come down in lead price or something like that, right? Or try to. And even if they did, oh yeah, Ramon, all right, yeah, 2,200. Okay, we're going to get you down to like 1,700, but still, that's still eating up the profit on there when you're at 660. I probably wouldn't be investing in all the Salesforce stuff that I'm doing, or doing, something else would get eroded in a sense. So there's a lot to it when you think about it. And I would encourage everyone to, get in there. You guys have set it up so the entry point, the barrier to entry used to be a lot higher, right? So you make it so that you just suppress the barrier in a sense, right? And you've got to. I see some people say, well, some people. It's funny because it's like you're either you can get you get the majority 5-star reviews, and then there'll be somebody who like, oh, it didn't work for me, or blah blah blah. It's because they didn't. You've got to have. I mean, put some. Although I say 5% of your business it can be lead aggregation. Take some time, a weekend or a couple weekends, to give a lot of thought to how you're going to drive traffic to the site. Because it's not just sign up with leadPops and you guys will set us up. You guys will get you out of the gate, set up the Facebook ad manager, put ads up there, and show us how to use the systems. But you've got to, as a practitioner, as a person that wants to get in the lead aggregation and be successful, you got to figure out what your strategy truly is. Where's your strength? Maybe your strength is just talking to people, and the podcast and social media is the way to go. For me, for years had been looking at display advertising. All right, I've been looking at Quicken and.
Oh yeah, I pay a lot of attention to that.
I could tell you what they were advertising. The little man with the ball and the thing, the 15-year moving slow, this moving fast, and all that's lower my bills. I could go on and on, because I just looked at that stuff, and it kind of paid off when I decided to come up with my own strategy to drive traffic. So you gotta spend some time to dig a little deep on what the strategy is going to be to get eyeballs. But once you can get those eyeballs, you guys have just completely the middle piece is done. So that's awesome.
Have you seen our animated banners? Have I shared those with you?
No, I don't think so.
The animation, we like to stand on the shoulders of giants. Sometimes you see something, you're like, okay, I got inspired. I'm not going to copy, but I think there's some cool things you're doing that why aren't independent mortgage brokers and loan officers doing the same thing LendingTree's doing? I like they're animated. They grab your attention. They have a little slider you can play with. The numbers are grabbing you. I'm going to share a link with you after this that'll show you some of the stuff we're doing, because we've got some display offerings internally and some really cool animated banners that you just follow around.
There you go, guys. That's it. You saw the secret. It's all about the animation. That's what all our ads have, is the animation. So if they're doing that now too, then you only need the fourth leg. Yeah. So you need the fourth leg, the personnel and figuring out how you're going to get all this extra business pushed through the funnel. Because if they're taking care of if they're doing the front end, all that animation and things that get people's eyes and they can capture the lead for you, it's just about converting it into a funded loan after that. But animation has been the key.
Dude, animation's everything. I love anything that wiggles, wobbles, grabs your attention, moves. Like, that's where it's all at. So I'll shoot you that. I think you'll like it. Awesome. If you're interested, and we'll do some cool stuff for you on that.
Okay.
And then just one other thing I was going to mention, that you'd mentioned if you're into realtors or referral partners and doing this and that, and leads are kind of new to you, just consider this. When Ramon decides that he's interested in going after real estate agents, he's MVP'd it, he's found a couple agents. If you're not doing some of this kind of stuff already yourself and doing some lead gen and contributing back to your real estate agent partners in a way beyond just, hey, I do a good job on the loan, we know that the loyalty thing is an issue. Realtors aren't all that loyal, and a lot of times it's like, why should they be? You don't, in most cases as a loan officer, you don't really refer business to them. You don't make them money. You do your job, which is hopefully you do a good job of it, and they're going to like you as long as you're doing a good job for them. Right. But as soon as someone like Ramon comes knocking, and he pitches one of your realtors and he shows them the machine he's built and the lead gen he's doing and how he can partner with that realtor to do beyond just a good job on the loan, but also help them build their business and help supply leads and partner with them, that becomes a hard competitor to beat. The realtor's most likely going to listen. So if you're not doing some of that kind of stuff yourself, just think about, a lot of people compartmentalize. They're like, oh, this internet lead gen stuff's over here, and then these realtor partnerships and referrals are over here. You don't see that these two things work really, really well together. Yeah. Right? If you're doing the lead gen, that just makes you a better referral partner. You're going to get, let's just say, some percentage of your leads. We're seeing as much on the purchase side as 50% of the lead forms getting filled out with the question being answered, I'm not working with a real estate agent yet. We've got a great client. You probably know him, Scott Shang, did an audit of like 350 leads he generated. 93% of the leads said, I'm not working with a realtor out of 350 leads. That's, 300 plus times he had an opportunity to reach out to an agent and say, hey, check your inbox. I've got another one for you. Right. So if you're not this internet lead person, don't just think about it like this is all of a sudden you have to shift your business and become this internet lead pro, and that's all you're going to be doing moving forward. It's like, no, do a little bit of it, maybe 5-10%, like you said, a chunk of it. What that starts to do is it gets you to the consumer first, which means now once, maybe twice a week, maybe more, maybe 10 times a week, you have a chance to take a lead you generated, hit up one of your realtors, text message them and say, hey, I've got another person you need to talk to, check your inbox. How cool does that relationship and that dynamic with you and that real estate agent become when that's your world versus you're just fielding calls maybe when the loan's falling apart, and it's always that right. kind of relationship. So
yeah, sort of like you want them to need you, not just want you in a sense. Yeah. If they need you because you've become a fixture in their business, more deals come in. I live like this now because of the deals that I do have. Now they need you as opposed to just wanting you, to complete that loan for them or this or that. So you've become, a part of their infrastructure and their business. Yep.
And it becomes harder for that LO with a shiny object to take one of your realtors from you. And he's like, hey, I've got these nifty flyers with my picture on here I wanted to give you. The realtor's going to shrug it off and you've got something, I think, there. And I've seen this firsthand with clients that have built that with their agents, that becomes, hard to compete with for someone else that's new that comes along. So these things work really well together. I'm excited to see when you unleash your new system, that fourth leg, and you decide to go after agents. I think it's going to be like, it's kind of like stealing candy from a baby. When Ramon comes and knocks on your realtor's door, I hope you've established something in place with them already, because he'll just take them from you.
Right.
You'll be able to do that. It's a real thing. You call up a realtor. I would say 9 out of 10 times, if they hear you out, they're going to say, yeah, let's meet. That sounds interesting. Yeah, that's not something my current loan officers are doing at all. Actually, I'm definitely interested in chatting and meeting with you. And, I had a client recently that told me he came into his office and he had a voicemail from another realtor who overheard what he was doing with some of the sticky bars and some of the other stuff with an agent in his office. And he came in and the voicemail was like, hey, I'd love to go meet you for coffee and this and that. He's just floored because he's like, I just got a voicemail from an agent asking me to go to coffee. Like,
we turned the table.
That just flipped the whole thing on its head. He was, so it's pretty cool to see it. So that's, I think, something you'll be able to turn on whenever you're ready, really. Being a great salesperson and having that team you've built up, it's just a matter of when you're ready. But with the rates being where they're at, with refinance being hot, obviously it's keeping you plenty busy. It sounds like 10,000 leads a month.
No, we'll want to be ready for the upcoming buying season. So, when January and February, all that stuff comes around, you'll see us really put some spin into the, you kind of want to do it. Purchase leads do have an incubation period. So we can incubate for a little while and do some introductions and this and that. And then when they're ready to hit, then we'll be ready. We'll be ready too. But yeah, I think in the longer run, like if you look out over the next 12 months or whatnot, we like purchase to substantially eat into what the overall origination numbers are for our company. If we can split it up, we can get around, it might not go 50-50, but if we can get 40-60 or something like that, that would be awesome. That would be, very strong. That'll say a lot. It'll say a whole lot about the strength of the company.
Animations, baby. Whenever you're ready, you're just gonna turn them on. All really cool stuff, Ramon. So last couple questions. Any like feature requests, any suggestions, anything you'd like to see the tools do or us do that we're not doing currently?
No, I mean, there's one project that we're looking at, and we're trying to like have something like a landing page or whatnot where we can display like rates to a client, or do something like what happens, take them a little bit further down the road after they complete the form. So we're trying to like automate something there. We're doing it right now. We're doing it on the back end, like how to produce that quote on a mass level, because it's a lot of API calls back and forth, right? If you're doing 10, then you got to send. Then what are you really sending, and all this sort of stuff, right? Do you give them the ability to change around the rate? So a lot of websites have, like, you can go on the website and put in your information and get a quote. But we want to look at it from a different perspective. We're trying to look at it from like that's the clients, once they fill out a form, complete your form, your landing page form, then they get access to their portal in a sense.
Yeah.
And their portal consists of their customized rate offers, which they can change and look at. But that same portal is sort of like where they will live and see the status of their loan, and then upload their docs and do all these things. But we just want to, one thing with LendingTree is after you finish your form, then they tell you, oh, we're shopping for 5 lenders and we're going to send you to your inbox when it's ready, and blah, blah, blah. Then you go in there and click it, then it opens up into a landing page that just shows a bunch of lenders. So it's that same concept, but instead of a landing page that just shows a bunch of lenders, it's more of your rate offer and the process, the timeline, the next steps, do X, Y, Z to lock your rate. So right now we're playing with that sort of UI and what that looks like, what that flow sort of looks like. So we know what we have on this end and this end, and we're just trying to bring that bridge together with the POS and stuff too, because but the POS is kind of different because the POS is actually taking the application. So this thing would kind of like take them to the POS if you can, kind of envision.
Maybe we can feed the fields to your system. I mean, we're happy to help if it's Zapier or, generating some sort of URL that can get emailed to the client that's unique to them, where they can click and log in and maybe create a password. So now they can come back and view it and customize it. That sounds pretty rad. The only company I've seen I thought did a pretty cool job with their lead form after the lead form goes through, and because I secret shop and test everything and everybody I can find all the time. Is Veterans United was doing some cool things there, and I think that they're one of the better ones in terms of lead gen and marketing in general. Like, if I was going to put a list together of who I look at that I think does this really well, this whole marketing lead gen thing, it's always better. To me, I think they do it better than just about anybody.
Oh, cool. Take a look at them.
So it's
Veterans United.
But yeah, they've got some pretty cool stuff. Put in some, create a burner email account when you go through there, because you don't want to get on their list, but you'll kind of start to see some of it. It's pretty cool. It's well done. Awesome. Ramon, feedback for us as a company, any last kind of words, anything you want to kind of let me know that we should maybe think about, or advice or anything?
Just keep on doing what you're doing. Like keep the pedal to the metal, full speed, and we appreciate it. Keep on allowing us the opportunity to be competitive, because your energy and your passion trickles down to your team, and you're adding a lot of people in too. So I know you've got to find the right people and get them to, you know, share in the mission and everything. So for you, I'd say continue to do a good job with that, and continue to give us the you know, opportunity to be creative as well, because when you're doing your thing, then it gives us access to be able to look at things from a different perspective and grow our businesses. So one thing I would say is just continue to, like, maybe we can all, like people like you and people like me, we can encourage more of the practitioners out there, whether it be in the wholesale space or the retail space, to look into the lead aggregation segment, right? I mean, it's sort of like a hate-love sort of relationship that is there now. A lot of people, I see a lot of dislike around it, a lot of negative talk. Like I saw one post somebody put out, "What's your guys' best suggestions for lead aggregation?" Blah blah, and a lot of the 75% of the posts were saying like negative things about call your own clients. I don't need lead aggregation. Blah blah blah. It's like, you know, so we got to get everybody to put the pitchforks down when it comes to lead aggregation and look at it for what it can truly do. Because it's just all perspective. So if you look at it as most fundamental level, we can even throw out the term lead aggregation. Let's not use it. Okay, it's ugly. You think it's ugly. I love it, but you think it's ugly. But let's throw that out and let's just ask ourselves, do all of us have, I don't know where my iPhone is, it's always within a foot of me, it's right there, right? So all of us have an iPhone, and you know, display advertising is becoming stronger and stronger. I can't do fantasy football, I can't do CNN, I can't do anything without being offered something from a lender that is now has a good system in place and can get a loan closed. We can't say like, that's an online lender, they're not as good as me, you know? We gotta stop thinking that we're better than X, Y, and Z, right? Because they are able to our competitors are able to effectively close a loan quickly. And now they're getting more competitive on rate. They had a choice, and they ran higher margins, but some of them don't have to run those high margins anymore. So I'm seeing them come in and be more competitive. So we have to, you know, draw a line in the sand and sort of put up a line of defense as well, and not just let them come in on us and trick us into believing that lead aggregation is some bad thing, right? Once we start on a fragmented level, because we're in the communities. So once we start on a fragmented level, putting ourselves out there in these same places online, in this virtual world, people will prefer to use us. They're like, oh, that's that office over there. I remember that. I pass there when I go pick up my kid,
100%,
right? So it's like, Quicken doesn't have that. Quicken has 2 offices, 3, North Carolina, Arizona, and Detroit. Right? They don't give any money to the local softball team that I give money to, right? So it's not, we gotta not let them buy up all the space. Yeah, go ahead. They can have the Masters, right? Go ahead. You can have the NBA Finals, right? But the neighborhoods, you know, the granular neighborhoods, I own. I don't only own it because of my sphere of influence. I own it virtually too, right? Yeah. And Google will allow you to go up higher if you are within proximity, right, of that person searching. So take advantage of that, and stop looking at this as just like some bad thing. It's a waste of money. That's the part I think that disappoints me a lot. So what we can do better, like the both of us, is kind of speak to our wins a little bit more, and change that narrative, and let people know that there is a safe way to enter the, this space without having to worry about losing a bunch of money, because I think that's what the fear truly is. So that's what I would leave.
Awesome. I'm with you on that, Ramon. From a guy who's done it himself, started with what you said, $250 a month on consumer direct, generating leads, and now you've created something amazing. And the 4th leg is coming here, Turkey Day, Thanksgiving. So thank you so much, Ramon Walker. Top 1% Scotsman Guide, mortgage originator. I mean, how many times now?
I'm trying to make some top originators now.
There you go.
I have to make some. I got to make some 1%.
Yes. CEO, president, right? Mount Diablo, Diablo Lending, and
now we have shameless plug. Lead Maturation is our is the company in which we'll license all the Salesforce stuff through. So we started this company late last year, and went through a couple of ideas, then got the right people on board. A couple of people that have a lot of experience with Salesforce that are owners of Lead Maturation as well. So they have a combined 30 years of experience, and built out a lot of this stuff that we're using. Like these were the guys that actually built it. So I'm, lucky to be in the Bay Area, lucky to have met some of the people I met in college or whatnot. And, we've all been successful in our respective careers, and we're coming together now. And I'm going to try to solve this fourth leg.
Fourth leg, baby. So lead
That's
maturation. Right. Awesome. Looking forward to keeping an eye on that and, playing a small part in feeding that monster. And
a big part.
Thank you so much. Ramon Walker, I'm Andrew Pawlak, CEO, co-founder at leadpops.com. You've watched another case study spotlight with LeadPops. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Love you guys.